how will I fulfill my dream of building a trolleybus dolly for a dog? There were times when I have built dollies on wheels. Then I'd put the dog inside, and the dog would just patiently sit inside, carefree, while I roll him around. For some reason, dogs will just mindlessly sit inside a dolly while being rolled around. If they get scared when the experience is new, it only takes a few minutes to get them to adjust. You buy some dolly casters and screw them onto a wooden dolly. Well, that's pretty straightforward. But here's where the idea gets really retarded. The dolly will have trolley poles, like you see in this picture. This is the same as a trolley bus, where one pole receives electrical current from a catenary wire to power the bus's electric motor, and the second pole acts as an electrical return, both functioning the same as the prongs on the end of a power cord that plugs into an electric socket. What I am proposing is building a trolleybus dolly that has those same poles, except, well, there is no electric motor. I would still be physically pushing it. What would the poles be doing? What purpose they would be serving? Absolutely fucking nothing. But you see, it's not just the poles that would be constructed, but wooden posts above the trail the dolly will be pushed around on, from which catenary wires will be suspended. Except they will not be electrical wires. They will just be a pair of braided plastic ropes like this. I want to build these wooden posts from which I will stretch a pair of ropes that look like trolleybus wires. A wooden dolly will be constructed with the trolley poles on top of it that will pivot with the use of bolts in combination with washers, and also will have to have hinges on them so they can tilt up and down. The tips of the poles will be grooved pieces of wood or metal that will also have to independently pivot. You see, a trolleybus is not on a track. It has rubber-tired wheels like a regular bus, yet it has to drive under catenary wires. Since it's not on a track like a tram, it could not stay precisely under the wires. For that reason, the poles have to articulate and rotate, allowing the bus to deviate from under the catenary wires into the neighboring lane and such. The poles are also pressed up against the wires with a set of springs. This way, if the roadway dips or it has potholes, and the height between the wires and the roadway changes, the poles will still remain in contact. Since I probably won't have springs, I want to hang up a pair of rocks, like you see in this picture, so with their weight, the rocks will pull the poles upward, pressing them into the ropes. It would be a dolly with trolley poles that will drag along a pair of ropes, stretched taut and suspended above the ground, just like a trolley bus, except there is no electric motor, and they're fucking ropes, not electrical wires. So there's zero fucking logic in doing any of this. I will be pushing the dolly myself, which means it can go anywhere, but instead I will deliberately only roll it under the ropes so the poles can drag against the ropes. Whenever the poles disconnect from the ropes, I will experience stress and anger as I reposition the poles so they keep dragging against the ropes. And it will be stress and frustration that will be totally pointless, because there is no logic in having two sticks on top of a wooden cart that touch a pair of fucking ropes when I am pushing the cart physically in order to roll it. And I wish I could actually waste time and money building something like this. Then I would have to figure out how to put switches into those wires if I want to have branching paths to roll the dolly on. A trolley bus driver has to activate switches remotely somehow from the cab before he turns, so the poles will follow the bus in the right direction. Otherwise, funny things can result, like the bus disconnecting from the wires and going dead. Think of that being the same as a railroad switch, kind of. You have the freedom to turn away from under the wires because you have the same wheels as a regular bus. You're not on rails like a tram, but if you do, you lose power and go dead. So, I'm going to be playing out a fucking charade that will make no fucking sense. Oh, and then bullies will come along, and this will get their attention because, like, what the fuck is that? And they will laugh at me, and they will grab the dolly from me, and they will start messing with me by rolling the cart around by itself, away from the ropes. And I will be getting mad because, no, you can't play like that. You're supposed to pretend that it can only ride under the ropes with the poles dragging against the ropes. And I will be called a dumb, retarded fuck, and 70 IQ people will be calling me a fucking retard. That's what I wish I could spend time and money on, and not ever have to work a real job so I can have free time to do shit like this. There was a time when I suggested making a monorail dolly for the dog, but at least something that's on a track makes some kind of sense. But this thing would make no fucking sense at all. Now, why can't we have trolley bus cars? Wouldn't you want to have electrical wires suspended over every road and traffic lane, and your car has those poles on top, constantly dragging against the wires? Although they have battery technology now that can power an electrical bus for a long time, so there's really no need to have catenary wires. Now, could it be possible to build something, or to have something like an electrical golf cart that runs on a 220 volt electric motor, and actually have bare wires through which 220 volt electrical current runs, like for your washing machine and dryer? Just have bare wires hanging 4 feet off the ground, and if someone stumbles into them and touches both at the same time, they will be fried. So that's a very safe idea.